Right guys, welcome back to this teardown of this Mini Cooper S. Now in today's video, we're going to be removing the airbox, the ECU box, to get it all out because one, I'm not going to be having this airbox anyway, so that needs to come out. And secondly, we need to gain access to the thermostat, which is down here. Now, bearing in mind the supercharger's out of the car, so it makes it very, very easy to gain access to the thermostat. Now we can gain access to the two bolts here, but we need to gain access to the one at the back here as well. Now to do that, we have to remove the airbox and the ECU, which we're going to go ahead and do. And I'm going to show you how to do that. So the first thing we're going to go ahead and do is remove these two bolts. Now you can do them with a Torx, or you can use an 8mm socket on them, which I'm going to be using. So I'm just going to quickly release them two bolts. Now on the side here, you've also got the jump cable, which you just need to take off, just like that, and move it out the way. Then you can lift the box up, and it should come out just like that. And that's the lid out at least. And that's the new air filter, which the guy did say to me he did change, but we're going to be disposing of it because we're not using it anyway. So the next thing we need to do is take this up, just like that. We're going to take a cap off. I'm going to put that on the side. That's for the ECU area. Because if you don't know, the ECU actually sits in the airbox well itself. So we need to prise these up now. Just got to remember how I did it before. So there's pigtails here, that's how it was, which you need to bring back, just like that, to take them off. And that's one out. And that's the second one coming out now as well. So that's out. You've also got a 10mm bolt just down here. So if you see where my finger is, the 10mm bolt is literally right here. We're going to be taking that out. So we're just going to whip that out. And what should happen is you should be able to take the whole airbox out, and you can see the ECU in there as well. Do make sure not to lose that. You will have to take that out if you're going to be replacing the airbox, which we are. So that ECU is going to have to come out of there anyway. Now you can see here, these are your rubber bungs. That's where the airbox usually sits on at the back there. And once you remove that, you now got access to the thermostat. So you just want to remove these clips and take out all of this. Now you're going to need to use an Allen key. You're going to have to take off all this wiring from here as well around the back, which is for ignition coil pack plug. So you can just bring that round to the front here to get it out the way, because that's the wire. Once that's out the way, you can now see access to the water pump. Now you're not going to be able to gain full access to it without removing this sensor right here. You're going to have to take off this sensor, which is your manifold absolute pressure sensor, or the MAF sensor, which we're going to have to disconnect. So just need to make sure we get the right bit, because we don't want to be stripping it, which we have. So we'll just be removing them. You see that one's quite badly corroded. And there is two, so there's another one right here. And that's the two of them now out. So now what we can do is just remove that sensor from out of there, right like that. Let's come out of that tube. You can see the tube there, and that slots back in. So now once that's out, now we've got access to the other bolt, because the whole idea here is that two of these bolts support this bracket. So with this bracket there, you ain't gonna be able to gain access to the thermostat. So I believe these are 10mm bolts. So we're gonna go ahead and remove them. Now, see if I can get my impact gun in here, which I can. And that's one out, that's two out. And then if you can see here, that releases that right here, the holding bracket. So that's two of them now removed. Now what we're gonna have to do is remove this hose right here. So we're just gonna disconnect that hose as well, so the thermostat's ready to come out. This is the pipe I was on about. This is for the supercharger, so that goes through the middle here and comes down just like that. So just remember where that goes. We're gonna take that out for now. And now we're just gonna remove this little coolant pipe right here. You can probably see where my hand is. We're just gonna take that off. And having the right set of pliers is key for doing any kind of coolant pipes. We'll just sit that back here like that. We don't want to take it completely off. We just want to be able to pull this coolant pipe off when we get a screwdriver. Screwdrivers always help prise them off a lot better than your hand can. And once that's off, now what you've got is just one more bolt for the thermostat, which is located directly under here where my hand is. I'll try and get the impact gun in there, but I don't think it's going to reach. So we're going to have to use a socket because it literally sits right under there. You could possibly see where my hand's going. And that's the other bolt out. Now what we'll do is we'll just remove the thermostat, just like that. And that housing's a bit corroded, the thermostat stayed in, which is what I would expect because it still was stuck. And you can see how old this thermostat is. Look at it, it's in a bad way. Completely torn up and needs to be replaced. But it's what I would expect. Like I said, nothing's been done in this car, so I'm not going to be expecting the thermostat to be done. Like I said, you know how some people are. They won't replace nothing unless something goes wrong, and they need to. People don't spend money unless they need to. But that's the old thermostat, that's the old housing. You can see here where it was starting to leak out the coolant, it's been on there for so long. We're going to end up cleaning up the area, but we don't need to worry too much about this area purely because the new seal from the thermostat is going to seal it anyway. So you don't need to worry too much about cleaning this up. So we're just going to go ahead and give it a clean up down there. And this is for the bin, and we're not using another plastic one at all. We've got an aluminium one purely because they don't go like this, and there's no risk of cracking because, as many of you guys know as well, on the W11 engines, these can crack, these thermostat housings, and cause a leak, just like the coolant expansion tank can as well. And all these things can cause head gasket failure and engine to be destroyed. So this is why everything's been upgraded. Later on with these W11s, people have learned from their lessons and done upgraded parts, and that's what we're going to be doing. So you'll see here, this is our new thermostat we're going to be putting on. You can see the thermostat housing is aluminum. You'll see that's our new thermostat in here as well. Now, there's one important thing I need to tell you guys with the thermostats that many people ain't aware of. When you put these in, make sure this bit right here is pointing upwards. You don't want that because that's the flow, which is where the temperature actually reads. This is the part right here on the thermostat. You want that to be facing upwards in the up position, and you want to stick your thermostat in that way, not this way like many people do. And you've got an alignment point right here as well on the piece if you can't align it, and this is going to be tight to get in at first, which is to be expected purely because it's new. Right guys, so that's the thermostat inside the housing now, and do make sure this piece is facing straight up, which it is. When we turn it that way, that piece will be straight up. That's the way it should be. It's all done now, so what we're going to go ahead and do is bolt it back in. Now, for many of you guys, it ain't going to be as simple as being able to put it back in like I can, because I can see everything, because I've got everything off right here. For you guys, if you're just doing this by taking the airbox out, it's going to be a lot harder. So what I do advise is to get a bolt and try and, you know, do it blind to find the right hole and screw it in. Now, to start off with the bottom one, purely because the two top ones, you need the bracket to put on first. So start with the bottom one and then work your way up to the two top ones. So it might actually be easier to do this bracket first. Now we can put in the last one at the bottom, which is right here, and then it all lines up now together, so it makes it easier for us to turn them all in. And that's now the thermostat housing on. Now what we got to do is reconnect everything. So we've already put our coolant hose back on. We just need to get this wire right here, which then runs around here. Put everything back together. Now we need to put our map sensor back on, but we must remember our tube, which is very, very important. Put our map sensor plug back in. Right guys, so as you can see now, that is now the new thermostat done. We've got a new thermostat housing, we've got a new thermostat. That's all now complete. And obviously many of you are gonna say it's only easy because I don't have the supercharger here. But bearing in mind, even when you've got everything in place, if you just remove the airbox, you should have enough space to do it. It is possible to do it. It is doable. Obviously I haven't got the horn here as well, which I've taken off, so it makes it a lot more space for me to get my hands down there. You guys won't have that, I get that. But obviously this is one of the reasons why I've done it, because I've got the car tore down. It doesn't make sense for me to then go and do it once I've got it all built back up, when everything's back in place. And now I know that's done, that's another job completed, so we don't have to worry about that. But that's how you replace your thermostat housing on a Mini Cooper S. Thank you very much for watching, guys. It is BMW Dr. Dean here, and goodbye.